somebody get the door for us back there? Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with Princeton. We have head coach Berube, and we're joined by Abby Myers and Caitlin Chen. A reminder on the format here: we will start with an opening statement from coach, then we'll take questions for the student athletes, then we'll dismiss the student athletes and come back to coach. And so we will take an opening statement.
Okay. So happy to be making this opening statement that we, came out with a hard-fought win. So much credit to Kentucky. They were tough. It was a battle from start to finish. They certainly rattled us for a bit in the first half, in the first quarter. But I think we got our footing and made some plays on both ends of the floor. The team defense was good, was great. It's hard stopping Howard and Edwards and all of their incredibly gifted players and athletes, but we stayed the course and made the plays we needed to, throughout and definitely down the stretch, and made some hit some big free throws to seal it. We finally came up with some big rebounds too. That is such a great offensive rebounding team, and it took all 5 of us to get in there and rebound the basketball. So just thrilled to get this victory for us, for Princeton, for the Ivy League. The mid-majors are doing great, and I love it. So, but just want to say thank you to Kentucky for a well-fought game.
We're going to open up to questions here. We'll bring the mics around. Please state your name and your media outlet. If you're following along with us on Zoom and you have a question, please indicate you have a question by the raise hand feature. We'll take questions in the room first, and then we'll go to Zoom. So we'll start with down here in the front. Can we bring a microphone? And this is questions for student athletes.
Cameron Drummond with the Lexington Herald Leader. Abby, for yourself, just when you're in that zone and making shots like that, how much license do you have to, I guess, just kind of, freelance and find your shot versus running, whatever offense or play coach is calling for?
Well, if you look at the first half, I was definitely chucking up some crazy ones, and at that point I had less of a green light. But, I think we always pride ourselves on being really patient and just having our composure on the offensive end. And we have, 1 through 5, we have so many weapons. We could do so many things one-on-one, but like our offense and our team, our principles is let's work together, us 5. And I think we did, that down the stretch. And of course, like Caitlin, myself, and some other players, Grace Stone, had some really big, just clutch one-on-one moves and plays near the end. But yeah, that's also just like, Coach trusts me, I trust her, and I'm really happy to have somewhat of a green light to be able to do a little bit what I want. But at the end of the day, glad we got the dub, and I know we have our sights set on Indiana, so that should be exciting.
We can go to Matt in the front here.
Matt Cohen, Indy Star. Abby, I guess after not having a season at all last year, I guess you guys have had a lot of time to get ready for playing in March Madness, and to now have an upset like this. I guess what's the feeling sitting here in these moments afterward?
I feel like we just kind of like proved ourselves in the Ivy League. I think, credit to like the coaching staff throughout the whole conference, but they're just working their butts off and getting really good players like Caitlin Chen, just like top 100 players on ESPN. So just it's a growing conference, and it's just good to prove that the Ivy League, we can handle ourselves and we can really compete at a really, really high level and on a great stage. And I know like for Kentucky, this is kind of a home game for them. It's only 3 hours away. It just feels really good. All that hard work is paying off.
We're going to go in the back next.
Steve Bittenbender, Associated Press. Abby and Caitlin, if you can put this into perspective, especially considering what has happened within the last 2 seasons and not being able to play last year, getting the chance this year, and just kind of what that meant, especially in those final seconds as you realized you were going to win.
It's honestly just been so much fun playing with this team, and that's what we talk about. We always play to have fun because we enjoy playing with each other, and we're proud of each other's success. So that's what makes this team so special, and I think that's the best part of it.
Just go
Yeah.
for. Oh, sorry.
I mean, just a quick thing is we all, grow up dreaming about playing on this stage in Division I basketball in the NCAA tournament, and for us to, finally be here after a year and a half, 2 years, and for some it was their first time. It's just, a special moment to have, our families come out and then they'll be able to watch another game. So, yeah, it's just special.
Now we'll go to the front row.
Sean Grove with WHJ. For either of you guys, you took, by my count, 4 or 5 charges on the defensive side tonight. How much do you guys harp on that defensive hustle and energy as a team?
Just got to get to the help, get there as fast as you can, and at the end of the day, we're not going to win them in jumping contests. So if we can kind of beat them on the that end, taking charges on the stuff that's not as noticed, it's a huge momentum changer, and I think we did that tonight.
Any other questions in the room for the student athletes? We'll go. Can we take the mics? We'll take far right. Yep, right there.
Thanks. Yeah, it's for Caitlin. So obviously a lot of that was played in transition, and you, as anybody else, knows that it's kind of hard to decide whether you're going to take it all the way through or if you're going to pull it back out and reset. How do you kind of approach that decision when you're playing a Kentucky team that really wants to push the pace and go fast? How did you approach that?
I felt like I was just sort of reading the court, surveying, seeing what they were giving me. And I mean, those are really fast, talented players, so at times it was a little difficult, but also just knowing that like my coaches and my teammates will back me on any decision that I make, and I know that like they'll be there for me if I ever get in trouble. So just knowing that they have my back. Yeah.
Bill Alden with the Town Topics. Abby, just talk about the defensive effort. It seemed like you guys really frustrated Howard. Just talk about that.
Well, I think we have to call out Julia Cunningham because that was her matchup for the night. And, yeah, she's a great player, right? She's going to be a top 5 draft pick. And we knew coming in that she was going to make a shot or was going to make a lot of shots. And we just had to figure out how to deal with that and then just bring it back on the offensive end and try and get another step on defense. But, yeah, it's tough. They're a very athletic team, right? So it's just kind of, getting that game plan ready, following the principles and listening to the coaching staff, what the game plan is, and just being as prepared as we can. But at the end of the day, it's a competitive game, it's a competitive match, and we just wanted to rise to the occasion, and we did that.
Anything else in the room? Yep, we'll go front row here.
I guess just for both of you guys as well, you kind of mentioned the defensive effort a second ago, but how much do you, I guess, kind of credit the system that you guys play in as well in switching so much? And just, I guess, how do you deal with that when, a team knows it's coming and has several days like this to prepare for it in a tournament setting?
Yeah, I mean, it really just gets down to, like, it's Ivy League defense, it's Ivy League play. I don't think a lot of people, they just underestimate how good the Ivy League is at both ends. So we wanted to come in and kind of just shock them, and I think that we did that. And, I think just making them uncomfortable, too, down low. We doubled up on Edwards. She's a great player, very strong. And, just kind of, trusting each other 1 through 5 and knowing that we have our help.
We're going to take a couple questions from Zoom now. We're going to go to Jen Hatfield. Jen, go ahead.
Hey, Abby. Hey, Caitlin. For both of you, really, watching on TV, it felt like the game really slowed down toward the end with all the free throws and kind of took a while for you guys to finally close it out. Was it nerve-wracking for you guys too? What was going through your mind as you guys were at the line?
Honestly, it wasn't too nerve-wracking. I mean, coach has prepared us for situations like these all throughout practice and throughout the season. So I felt like we were pretty prepared and we were ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there were some fouls called on us, and, you just can't control that. You just got to, overcome it, play through it, and know that at the end of the day, everything's going to be okay, especially if we're, up a few in the fourth. Yep.
We're gonna go to Nancy Armour now on Zoom. Nancy.
Hi, Nancy Armour from USA Today. For Caitlin and Abby, you guys are the 5th double-digit seed to advance to the second round. That's 2 fewer than the record. Just curious your thoughts on how important that is to have these kind of upsets to grow the game and grow the tournament.
We like to say that this wasn't an upset in our minds. We were ready. We knew that we were going to be underestimated, just being a mid-major, Ivy League team. And, it feels great just to break the curse of not getting out of the first round, and we did that, and we're just going to, set our sights on Indiana, prepare as best we can, heal our bodies over the next day and, be ready to shock the world again.
Okay, if there's no other questions for the student athletes, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now open it up to questions for Coach. We'll start in the back. We've got a microphone there.
Steve Bittenbender, Associated Press. Kind of putting this into perspective with the team and with the opponent you face. Is this the biggest win in program history?
I think so. I've only been here a couple years, so I don't have a lot of my own history with this group. But I think on this stage, with the seed we had and beating a Kentucky team, the SEC champion, and I think it's definitely up there as one of the best wins, and just really, really, like I said, thrilled for this squad.
We'll go to the front row on the right.
Gabe Perrin, WHJE. Coach, this is just the second time Princeton has advanced to the round of 32 in school history. What is it about this team in particular that led them to that point?
They work really, really hard. They play for each other. They play together. It's such a joy to come to practice every day. They're really, resilient. I think we were really tested in our schedule, the non-conference schedule, playing Texas and a Florida Gulf Coast and a Delaware and a Villanova. So, they were battle tested. So I think they were ready for this moment and for this game. And they were locked in. And we talk about just defensively being locked in, and they certainly were.
We'll go front row here.
I asked the players the same question, but I guess after not having a season a year ago, what's it like sitting here now after all that time? You had to watch games that now you've gotten that big upset spotlight win, and being in, I guess, the initial feelings in the moments after that.
Yeah, I've said this before. It was certainly a challenging, time when the season was cut short, and then the Ivy League decided to not play, and we were scattered all over the country. Watching the NCAA tournament, it was strange and it was tough, but we stayed together. We stayed connected, and we came back just really grateful to be together again, and playing the game that we love. And I think Caitlin says it best. There's just so much joy that they have in playing basketball and playing for Princeton, and just playing together every single day, and that's player 1 through player 16. If you watch our bench, they are so into the game, and every day in practice we play against really great players. So we're competing every single day so that we're ready for games like this. But I'm truly just grateful that we had a season, and we're now advancing to the second round.
Go second row.
Coach Lee Howard, WKYT, congrats on the win. I believe you said early on that they rattled you a bit early. Was there something that changed? And also, how much did Howard and Edwards both going to the locker room for little stints of time with injuries maybe play in your favor?
I think Walker just puts a lot of pressure on us. Incredible defender, and we just, we don't see that kind of pressure every day. And so I think it just took us just a couple of moments to just get our feet under us and take a couple deep breaths and just work together, and not, it couldn't be all on Caitlin to try to break that press and that kind of, just resiliency on their end defensively. And I wasn't really paying attention to when they went out or why they were out, just focused on who was out there and the matchups and what we needed to do, both offensively and defensively. But of course, without those two players, they're definitely a different team.
Any other questions in the room? Go front row there.
Carla, we talked a lot about defense, but just talk about Caitlin and Abby. They really carried the offense and gave you a 1-2 punch today.
Yeah. Yeah, Abby was right. There was a couple shots in that first half that I was like, oh, I don't know, that's our best shot, but it's hard to give her any kind of red light. Sometimes it goes yellow. But she certainly came up big shots, big plays, big free throws. Same thing with Caitlin, right? Her pull-up was awesome. Just a great playmaker for her teammates, and like I said, she just took so good care of that basketball with Kentucky hounding her for 40 minutes. Yeah, I mean they had an awesome game, but they had some really great teammates around them that played their roles really, really well.
We're going to take a few now from Zoom. Nancy, go ahead.
Hey, Carla, I just wanted to follow up. You mentioned it in your opening statement, and I asked Caitlin and Abby about, this is the 5th double-digit seed. You mentioned the mid-majors. How big is it for mid-majors and the higher seeds to be pulling upsets for the growth of the tournament and the growth of the games?
It's awesome. It's awesome. People talk about there isn't any, parity in women's basketball, and this is March Madness, and it's actually March Madness in women's basketball now. So it is awesome for mid-majors because it's great basketball. Yes, Power Fives, a conference like SEC, Big Ten. Yeah, there's some great teams there as well, but you're seeing it. Like there is awesome basketball at the mid-major level. So I'm loving it.
We're going to go to Jen next on Zoom.
Hey, Coach, congratulations.
Thanks, Jen.
Just curious, how much you felt like you had to make adjustments at halftime, like what was the message there to the team, and then after the game, kind of what the vibes were in the locker room or what the message was.
Great vibes after. Halftime, we always, no matter what the score is, I put on the board, it's 0-0. Like, yes, we had a little lead. They actually got some momentum at the end of that first half when Howard hit that three, and I wanted us to just refocus and play the way we're capable of playing. Just a couple adjustments with some screening action, but it was more like, let's take care of the basketball. This is just way too many turnovers, right? They had so many points off of our turnovers, and let's take care of it and get good shots and play the defense we're capable of playing. The vibe after the game was awesome. I had to change my shirt because I'm soaking wet. Really, just really, really excited. They were thrilled, and now we have to quickly turn the page to Indiana. So just looking forward to this next challenge.
We'll go to Chantel Jennings next on Zoom.
Hey, Carla, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. My question's kind of a follow-up to Nancy's, actually, specifically about the parity within the women's game. There's obviously still those elite teams in women's basketball, but it feels like, especially in the last few years, the gap between elite, great, very good, is getting smaller and smaller, and you mentioned the parity, but I'm curious, are there specific factors that you've seen over the last 2 decades that have sort of elevated that parity or brought that parity in the grassroots level or high school or college? Like, what are the contributing factors?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's, stems from the grassroots level, right? There are more girls playing basketball, and it's the game is just growing. And so more playing, better play, right? They're putting in the time, and there's more talented players. And now, they're dispersing all over the country, and we are very fortunate that we've got some really talented players at the mid-major and at Princeton University. And, my goal is to keep doing that, keep bringing in great players, great student athletes, great people, and just hope that we can keep building on this. But I think it has to do with, right, the grassroots level.
Any other questions for Coach in the room? We'll take one more. This will be our last one.
Carla, you had experience in this tournament as a player. How does today compare? The experience of today?
way more stressed out today than I ever was as a player. You know, I said this to our people that Kyra Elsie, she played at Tennessee when I was at UConn, and she actually was on that Cinderella team that ended my career. Just a little tidbit there, but you know, no, I don't remember that game at all. But it, yeah, I mean, it's just awesome as a coach, and I'm so happy for my staff that puts in a lot of time to getting our players ready for the game. And yeah, it's hard to compare player. You know, it just kind of showed up, and I had Rebecca Lobo and Jen Rosati and a lot of really good players around me. So this is very different, but still pretty amazing feeling.
That's all the time we have now. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to get started here. We have Coach Elsie, Ryan Howard, Dreon Edwards. Coach has decided not to make an opening statement, so we're just going to go right to questions from student athletes. Please raise your hand, and we'll take questions for the student athletes. We'll start here in the front row.
Dre and Ryan, both you guys missed some time there in the first half. Going back to the locker room, was it injuries or what caused both you guys to miss some time there in the first half?
Yeah, we both took some pretty hard hits, so we just had to step out for a minute.
Yeah, get ourselves together, that's all.
We'll go to the center here.
To kind of build on that, it was during that time, Ryan, when you went out early in the first half where Princeton was able to take the lead, and it seemed like you guys were never in your groove after that. How much did that kind of mess up with the flow of the offense or even the defense during the injury times?
I don't think that's what messed up the flow of our offense. We got very good looks, and were able to do what we wanted to do. It just didn't go in the basket.
Questions for the student athletes? Go back to the front row here.
Ryan, I know it's just coming to an end, but just what is your time at Kentucky meant, and what has it meant to you to be a part of this program and do the things that you've done?
It's been fun. I really don't look at like any accomplishments or anything. It's just the connections I've had with my teammates, with my coaches. I wouldn't change it for the world. I love all of them, and I know that they gave their all for me today and this season. So
We'll go center here.
Grant Grubbs with Kentucky Sports Radio. Driana, Ryan was just mentioning relationships and stuff there. What does it mean, kind of looking back on your all's relationship, what it meant to have her as the team leader and kind of a friend right there with you?
Yeah, around my dog, it means a lot. Just like my sis right here, I mean, I love her, so yeah, I love you, Rob. I love you.
We'll go over here on the left next.
Ryan, there were some stretches there in the first half. Kyra was pumping you guys up, loving the defense that Jada was bringing. I guess what was working for you guys there, and especially in the fourth quarter when you cut it to 1, what was working and how come it just didn't quite get over the hump to take the lead?
We was just playing aggressive defense, and at times it got a bit too aggressive.
We'll go to the front.
Gabe Perrin, WHJE. Being conference champions yourself, how does playing the Ivy League champions Princeton compare to other top teams in the nation like South Carolina, LSU, and Tennessee that you play pretty often?
I mean,
Credit to Princeton, but I mean, we've played better teams and come out on top. So
yeah. I mean, I think SEC is the top conference in women's basketball, so that's pretty much all I got to say.
Any additional questions for the student athletes? Go back front row here.
Dre, you mentioned it a little bit, but just what are you going to miss the most about Ryan as a teammate and as a person?
I'm going to miss her leadership on the court. Off the court, I mean, we had some good times. Ryan's a very funny person, so I'm going to miss that. Our jokes, our laughs. I'll call you, though.
For Ryan and Dre both, it's hard right now with the outcome not being what you wanted tonight, but this run you guys just went on was pretty impressive considering where you were at a month ago. That 10-game winning streak and winning the SEC tournament. Just for you guys to come together as a team like that, what does that say about just how special of a unit this was and a group you guys were?
I mean, it means that we fight and we don't lay down for nobody. We dig deep and we play with our hearts.
yeah, we don't care what nobody got to say about us. We're gonna fight for each other.
Center here. Yep.
I guess for both of you guys, what do you think was the big difference tonight, or I guess this afternoon, between just 13 days ago and the SEC championship?
I mean, I think we just hit shots in the tournament, in the SEC tournament. Some things didn't go our way today. We just got to finish on our end.
Any other questions for the student athletes in the room here before we take a couple on Zoom? Okay, we're gonna go to Michelle Vopel. Michelle, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Ryan, I know this is a lot to take in right now, but you've got, I think, so much basketball ahead of you. Can you kind of give us your thoughts on looking forward, because it comes pretty quickly, and just your thoughts on your game and how it translated at the pro level?
Right now I'm not thinking about that. I know it's gonna come quickly, but I'm just gonna take some time to, look back on everything that we've accomplished here and everything that I've done over these past 4 years, and just, take it all in for a minute.
Jen, did you have a question?
You guys, for either of you, you guys touched on this a little bit, but you were talking about not hitting shots today versus hitting some shots in the SEC final. What did you see from the Princeton defense, and did they do anything that threw you off at all, or was it just one of those days?
I'm gonna say it was just one of those days.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, their defense wasn't nothing that we've seen before in previous games.
Okay, we're going to dismiss the student athletes now. Thank you, ladies. We'll now open up the questions for Coach Elsey, so please raise your hand. We'll bring the microphones around. We'll start in the front row here.
Yes, Kyra, I know it's just ended, but just the way you contextualize the season, doing something that hasn't been done since '82 in Lexington, but with a disappointing end in the tournament, how do you kind of look at the whole picture of things?
Well, obviously, it's a disappointing day. It's not the ending that we wanted. Give credit to Princeton. I thought they were the tougher team today, made some big plays when they had to have them. As far as what we've done, I told the players in the locker room, in this moment, it hurts. But when we have a chance to look back, I just told them how much I love them, how proud I am of them. When we were dead in the water, this team could have laid down and quit. And we did something really special to go on the run that we made to make it to the NCAA tournament, to win the SEC championship. We have some things that we have accomplished down the stretch that we will be proud of, even though in this moment it's hard to celebrate it.
We'll go to the back row.
Steve Bittenbender with the Associated Press. Kyra, the win against South Carolina, the run in the SEC tournament happened a couple of weeks ago. Did that, having that time off, did that, cause any issues as far as, losing that momentum or losing that sharpness coming into the tournament?
I thought we've been focused in practice. We have been locked in, I thought, all week and taking care of our business. So it wasn't like we didn't come here prepared and wanting to win. It did not go our way today. Like I said, credit to Princeton. They made some tough plays. Didn't think we could get over the hump. So some of the defensive stops that we have been getting down the stretch to get on our winning streak, we just couldn't get today. But let me tell you, hats off. This team has a toughness about them, no quit. Even today, we did lose, but I thought down the stretch they continued to fight. So we came here wanting to win. We just didn't finish the job.
Go to the front row.
Sean Grove, WHJE. Coach, obviously Abby Myers is a tough defensive matchup tonight for you guys. What about her offensive game made it so tough to defend?
I thought Abby had a great game. I mean, she's a phenomenal guard. I thought she made some big plays. Her ability to score on all three levels, and if you give her any space, it's going up, and she's very efficient offensively.
We can go to the second row left here.
Over here, we've asked you about Ryan a million times, it feels like, but now that this is the end, what are you going to miss the most about coaching her and having her on your bench?
She's a once-in-a-lifetime type of player. She's gifted. But more importantly, what she has done for Kentucky basketball. And I've said this, she's the best in the country for a reason. Her ability to score at all three levels, her basketball game speaks for itself. She has left her legacy at Kentucky and for women's basketball. But what I'm going to miss is the person. She's very humble, kind-hearted. I'm going to miss her coming to the office, laying on the couch, trying to see what we're going to do for practice. But she is a great person, and that matters to us in our program.
Any other questions in the room for Coach? Yep, we'll go front row, and then we'll go to the second row.
Kind of on that note about Ryan as well, how important was it to get her that championship in Nashville and just the gratification of that? Yeah, she has all the points and everything, but she is also an SEC champion and has hardware from her time at Kentucky.
Well, I think she put her stamp on her legacy. So it was great that she had the opportunity to win an SEC championship. That was the reason she came to Kentucky. That is the standard and expectation. We want to play for championships. And for her to be able to win it, I'm so proud of her and all the accolades. But I'm proud of this team. Like I said, disappointing day. But what I love about this team, we'll go back to work in the off season, and this will be one that we remember.
Go to the second row, center here.
One more question about today's game. I know it was frustrating because you guys seemed to be in the game all the way down to about like the last 4 minutes. I believe you went without a field goal. Did you ever think that like you guys were going to get it back together and able to take the lead, and how frustrating was that?
You know, I felt like we were in the game when we cut it to 4. I was like, if we can just get over the hump, you know, we kept talking about being able to get a defensive stop, a score. But today that didn't happen for us. But I always thought we were in the game with a chance to win. I mean, we've come from being behind a lot of games this year, so that was no different. But like I said, give credit to Princeton. They made tough plays when they had to, and we could not finish today.
We're going to take a question on Zoom. Jen, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Jen Hatfield with The Next. You talked about Abby Myers earlier, but I'm curious, you know, looking at Abby as well as Caitlin Chen, how those two kind of play off each other or make life difficult for you guys defensively.
Yes, I mean, we were switching. You know, I thought we allowed them to get downhill on us, rise up and make some shots. They made some tough ones. But they're very talented. They're well coached. I thought they, you know, were efficient offensively. For us, offensively, I thought we were rushed today. I thought we played too fast on the offensive end, broke off some plays. And so I will take that to make sure that in the future we'll be ready.
Any other questions in the room here for Coach? Okay, we'll take last one in the front here.
It seemed like when y'all played Indiana here in November, that was Jada Walker's first, like, you know, big time performance and stuff, and she carried, you know, a lot of the work there, especially defensively in the first half. Just how proud are you of her performance today, and just the whole entirety of her freshman season, what she's shown and doing at this level?
Jada Walker is tough as nails. Her ability to bring the heat defensively, but I've said it all year, she's fearless. She's a fearless freshman, and what she has brought to our team this year, you know, is everything we needed. A winning mentality, a toughness, someone that loved defense, and the sky is truly the limit for her. Now that she has a season under her belt, y'all better watch out.
We have time for one more. Go ahead.
If I could steal the reporter's question on Zoom about Ryan and the pros. She's so humble, she doesn't want to answer it. But for you, would you mind talking a little bit about her and just what she brings to the pro game?
Well, whoever is smart enough to draft her, they're going to have a talent, and she's going to make people better. She's competitive. Her basketball IQ is unbelievable, but it's her versatility at the next level. She's a 6'2" guard with a great frame. She can play multiple positions, and I think in time she will be the face of the WNBA.
Okay, we got one more minute. If you can make it quick, Jen, go ahead.
Carla mentioned in her post-game presser that she remembered that you were on the Tennessee team that ended her UConn career. Just curious if that crossed your mind at all today or when the matchup was announced.
It didn't, but now it does cross my mind that you brought it up. So that's like a double dagger, right? But you know, she's done a great job with that program, and but I'm proud of what Kentucky has done this year. Our work is not yet done. We'll go back to work, and this will be a program that the people in the Commonwealth will be proud of.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.